My name is Ann Nemenick. I'm the Executive Director of Go Laurel Highlands, and I'm really here just to kind of share what a collective group did since February of this year. Took a really deep dive into the process, looked at the criteria, looked at the grant application, and we've really fine-tuned things, I think, to make it even easier for you. Every grant is very different. Thursa talked about LSA funds. There are federal funds available through grants. There are also grants through different foundations, and every single one is a bit different, but they all have one thing in common, and that's a good purpose for that particular grant. So we're going to talk a little bit about that this morning. So thank you all very, very much for coming today. You're in a good place, and congratulations to you, because Fayette County has it going on, as we would like to say. You're off to a really good start because you are in a county that recognizes tourism as an asset. They recognize tourism as a way to bring economic development here to Fayette County, and they recognize you as business owners that you are very, very important. So you can see right here the dollars that are spent in your county on an annual basis, $639 million, and that number really ticks up every single year. So that's just something to be proud of. You know, you're part of a great community of people that really want to come here to Fayette County. Your occupancy numbers are increasing. Every single thing that we look at as a tourism marketing organization is happening right here in your county. So why are you here, and why are those things important? So the purpose of these grants is very specific. You need to encourage a visitor to stay here. When you're writing your grant, you need to think about that. How is my grant going to encourage somebody to come here and stay here? Because all of the dollars that we are able to collect come from a lodging tax. So if they don't stay here, those numbers dip. Fortunately for you, they're increasing. So each year we're able to spend and send a lot more dollars back into your tourism community. Why are they coming? And are you enticing them to stay longer? Another reason for these particular grants. Are you enhancing their experience? You may think, well, you know, I don't really have a business that somebody is really interested in. Well, don't think that way. Everybody that comes through your door is not a local. A lot of those folks are visitors. So are you sharing information about your neighbors? Do you have 2 restaurants that are at the top of your list that somebody says, you know, I'm really looking for something that's unique. I'm really looking for something that where the locals eat. You know, have those things at the ready so that folks come in and they begin to trust you because you're providing them with that golden nugget of information. So again, we're attracting visitors outside of your county. That's something else that you need to remember. You can't market within your county with these dollars. You're marketing outside, typically a 50-mile radius outside of the Laurel Highlands and outside of Fayette County. West Virginia, Golden. So think about Morgantown, think about Harrisburg, think about Baltimore, Washington, D.C., and we'll take a deeper dive into that as well. So the Tourism Grant Program began in 2009, and you have your current Board of Commissioners and those that were in office prior to that really recognized this is an opportunity. So since 2009, over $8 million has been infused back into Fayette County. Last year alone, look at that number, over $1 million. I mean, that doesn't happen overnight. And believe me, that doesn't happen across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Laurel Highlands and our 3 counties that we represent, all of them have a tourism grant program. And I think we're really, really lucky. You step over to Allegheny County, they don't have this type of program. So you're in a really good place to operate a business. So Go Laurel Highlands we look at trends. Every year it changes. Why are people traveling? Why are they coming? It helps us and it helps Jen really formulate a marketing plan for us on an annual basis. We don't copy and paste, from one year to the next. Don't you guys do that either, I'm just saying. The landscape changes. We are in election year. That makes a difference. It makes a difference if we have a rainy season and people think, oh, I'm not going to come here. It makes a difference when we have a season where there's not a lot of snow and people say, oh, well, it didn't snow there last year. It's not going to snow here. So there's a lot of different factors that come into play when people are looking at where they want to travel. What's happening now coming up the East Coast? Debbie, how many people say, well, I'm not going to Hilton Head, I'm not going to Myrtle Beach because it's raining? I mean, all of those things make a difference. So it's important for you to think about why people travel and do your homework. Your business is unique. If you are a restaurant, the reason people are coming to you is different than if you are an outfitter in Ohio Powell State Park. If you are a coffee roaster, it's different than if you are a candy maker. So each of you has your own unique set of circumstances as well. So just kind of taking a look at the travel trends for 2024. So people that are traveling are looking for locally curated experiences. Good for you, you've got that. Gig travel, so that means they are traveling to see their favorite performers. You have a beautiful new venue on the mountain in Timber Rock, bringing in some nationally known country artists. That's a benefit to you. Celebration family travel. I don't think that's ever going to go away, but you, again, are uniquely positioned for people that have family in DC or Northern Virginia or maybe Ohio. You're right in the middle. Perfect place to meet, to have a family reunion, a get-together, a wedding, or whatever that might be. Slow travel. People don't want to rush their experience. They want to maybe take in an art class. They might want to do something that benefits the community where they're working. So think about those kind of things too. A little bit more of a slower pace, that's important. Local and regional cuisine, I shared that with you. 87% of baby boomers want that authentic experience. Gen X, those folks are 43 to 56 years old. They prioritize what they're going to do. That's a big scene for us, for craft beverage makers. Gen Z, so they're on a path of self-discovery. They want to have, again, authentic experiences, but they also want to try something new. Maybe they were raised by parents who were very, very protective, and they weren't going to put their butt in a boat at all. But gosh, Mom and Dad, I'm grown up now, and I really want to try that. So again, they are self-discovery. How are you enticing that particular age group to come to your business? Traveling with pets. I know this is like a yin and a yang. Oh, I don't really want to bring my dog. It's happening. How are you able to accommodate that? I will say that the restaurant scene is really being open to that. A lot of outside dining where the little pups can come, they have their nice little water bowls for the dogs. That's a positive. You're going to get that traffic that comes in that's traveling with their dogs. Business and leisure is a blend. This is really carrying over from COVID. When folks were able to travel and settle for months on end in a particular vacation rental, that mindset did not go away. They want to blend and they want to extend their experience. So they may be coming in for a Monday through Wednesday meeting or a conference. They may be bringing their family and they may be staying longer, tacking on the weekend before or the weekend after. So again, when you're talking to somebody, maybe that's in conference sales, encourage them. Maybe you can offer a lower room rate if they extend for 3 or 4 days longer than what they had for their individual conference. So again, you just got to do your homework a little bit, and we can help with that. But you have what they want. So again, I think just lucky you, from food to craft beverages, history and culture, outdoor recreation, and really an abundance of lodging options. You have a resort, you have vacation rentals, you have hotels, you have B&Bs, you have camping. You have absolutely everything from a lodging perspective that folks are looking for. And you just have, this is only 5 photos. I could have done 500 photos of Fayette County. You really have what folks are seeking. So it's a great place to start. And you also need to think about the future. What's on the horizon? 2026 isn't that far away, but the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania is behind America 250 PA. You're writing a grant for 2025. That's the planning year for 2026. So think about that when you are writing your grant as well. Really important to think into the future. So a couple slides, since we have some new folks here, who is our visitor? So Steeler Training Camp, Steeler Nation is in full swing. Trust us, they come from all over. In our visitor center in Ligonier, we had somebody from Belgium just the other week, Alaska. I mean, they come from all over the world to see these Pittsburgh Steelers. And damn it, they better get into the Super Bowl one of these days soon, because I'm getting older and I really want to see that. But, what are those nuggets of people that are coming? Now, you might say, oh, well, that's in Latrobe. So, how far is Latrobe from Connellsville? How far is it to Flight 93 to Fort Necessity? It's not that far, really. And if we can connect all of those little dots, we are extending that individual's experience when they're coming. One thing to keep in mind is they are last-minute bookers. They'll get here and they'll say to themselves, oh, well, it's raining, I've got this afternoon. Don't be discouraged when somebody calls and says, I have an afternoon, can I get in? Can I get in for a tour? Is Laurel Caverns open today? Can you stay open an extra 45 minutes? I'm on my way with a party of 10. Who's going to turn away a party of 10 for a dining experience? I certainly wouldn't. So again, got to be a little bit flexible when it comes to folks. So let's take a look at, these are our statistics, and I think they can translate to your county very, very easily. Top cities. Take a look at the top cities here. This is, again, Laurel Highlands data. So Pittsburgh, for us, that's the closest metropolitan city. That checks a box for us. Then you'll take a look also at New York, D.C., and Philadelphia. We are there through our social media efforts, print, and in-person opportunities. We do some travel shows where we're interacting with those folks. We have 2 of our team that were in Philadelphia last night at the beautiful Philadelphia Museum for a Best of Philly magazine opportunity. They interacted with hundreds of folks that came through, and we showcased Fayette County while they were there last night. Baltimore, we were in that market for 2 years with the Baltimore Ravens. It's a little hard, it's a harder market to penetrate because there's not a ton of marketing opportunities, but Jen and our team saw an opportunity through the Baltimore Ravens, and so we were there. We're not there this year. But look, those statistics are still ringing true. They remembered us through our marketing efforts. Columbus and Cleveland will always be there. It's a drive-to market. You need to think about that too. Easy for folks from Cleveland and Columbus to scoot across and visit you here in Fayette County. So then we move over to male and female. This kind of fluctuates from year to year. It's fascinating to me to kind of watch this. During COVID, it was more male dominant. And when we dug a little deeper, we found out because that was for outdoor recreation. The men primarily look for those outdoor recreational experiences. So it skewed higher during that time period. Now we're back to where it's more or less normal. A lot of the females will do the planning, and so that's why that particular statistic is a little bit higher. The best graphic is the one with the different age demographics. Lucky for you, every single type of age group wants to come here. So again, think about that when you're talking amongst yourselves, your marketing team, and you're formulating a marketing plan. Think about all of those particular statistics. So here comes the fun part. So we're going to get this party started. So everyone, it's like class, page 1 of your criteria and your guidelines. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. You have this document. It's going to be uploaded on August the 26th, but you have the opportunity to kind of look at it right now. So page 1 of your criteria, everybody hold it up to make sure you got it. Great, okay. So applications themselves will be available on Monday, August the 26th. We're giving you a little bit longer of a time. You've got about 6 weeks to really work on this grant. The deadline is Friday, October the 4th at 4 o'clock. What happens at 4 o'clock is it goes, boop, no more submissions at 4 o'clock. It's completely taken down from the portal. So just make sure you're working ahead. You don't have to wait till the last minute. How about that week before? Maybe put that on your schedule as to when you want it. Grants are reviewed. So here's kind of the process of how this works. So your grants come in, they are reviewed by Georgia. She makes sure that all of the boxes that need to be part of that grant are checked. Then those are compiled, and they are all given to each grant member, and they read those from start to finish. So in early November, the review committee will read all of those grants. And then the grant administrator will send you a letter with a happy face that you received a grant, or a not so happy face if you did not receive a grant. Don't be discouraged. If you don't receive a grant, it's not okay, but it is okay. Try again next year. And again, as we talked about early, there are other opportunities out there for you. Reach out to Muriel at the chamber. Reach out to your legislators and find what other dollars might be available to you. The grant ceremony will be actually not the week of December the 9th. I think it's December the 4th. We'll get you that date. Funds are issued. So you can use the funds from January 1, 2025. You have to use them by December 31st of 2025. You're going to get your checks around January the 5th, depending upon the good old Postal Service, but you'll get them, okay? December 11th. Oh, December 11th is the grant ceremony. Closeout and final report. Another important date for you to remember is March 31st of 2026 by 4 o'clock through the online portal. We need to close that out so you're eligible for the next grant phase. Okay. Here in Fayette County, you have 4 different types of grants that you're able to apply for. So a marketing grant, pretty self-explanatory what that is. A tourism enhancement or a capital grant, operational, or a visitor center grant. Now, the visitor center grants are very specific with the MOU with the county. It has to be a visitor center along the Great Allegheny Passage. So that's in Connellsville right now, okay? One thing to keep in mind, operational, $2,500 is the max that's awarded for operations. The others, I wouldn't say pie in the sky, but let's be realistic with your ask. Don't put in a grant for $200,000 to put a brick wall out in front of your building. Let's be realistic with your ask and make sure that everything that you have is legit. So what do I mean by that? Don't overinflate, because trust me, we have people on that grant review committee that can see right through that, and suddenly what was a promising grant isn't so much, because they can see that your numbers are not accurate. So again, be honest and be accurate with those. So how much can I get? So grants that are $25,000 or less, you'll receive that full funding in January. If it's over $25,000, you'll get $25,000 in January, and then you'll need to ask for that balance throughout the course of 2025. Again, the remainder will be issued to you in one check. So $25,000, say you get a grant for $75,000. You're going to get $25,000 up front. Your second check will be $50,000. You need to close it out by the end of the year and have that final grant by March of the following year turned in. Again, be realistic, be honest, and really work with legitimate and established providers who promise to deliver, and you know they can deliver. Promises are one thing, but make sure you do your homework and that they are established, that they have been in business, that they have a portfolio, that you can see the work that they've done. All of those things are really critically important. Okay? Page 2 of the guidelines. How many for-profits are in the room? Guess what? It's not a dollar for dollar match anymore. 25% match for for-profits and nonprofits. I'm very happy that the commissioners gave serious consideration for this ask. We know it's often difficult for a dollar for dollar match, and we really want our for-profits to be on an even playing field with our nonprofits. You all work together. And I don't think it's a competition. I don't think that it deters to have a 25% match for our for-profits. I think it can be a good benefit. I wish there were more in the room because these grants are available to both for-profits and nonprofits. So Act 18, this is not our rule, this is not the commissioner's rule, this is the Commonwealth's rule, that if you collect lodging tax in your county and you wish to establish a tourism grant program, you must have a 25% match from the applicant. It's just the way across the Commonwealth. You can do it in a couple different ways, a cash match, an in-kind match, and I'll explain all of these, donated items, volunteer hours, but the volunteer hours are really only for our festivals and our event folks. You can't do volunteers for those that are working with you. So I just kind of want to review those with you. A cash match is pretty simple. You got cash in the bank as your 25% match. But you're going to need to show how you use that as part of your overall grant. So say, for instance, you have a marketing grant for $10,000. You need a 25% match, that's $2,500, duh. And then what you need to do is make sure that that $2,500 is spent on that $10,000 marketing program, marketing plan, or whatever that you had in mind. In kind, you may have somebody that is a designer, or you may have a printer, and they are providing to you a discount or a fully funded aspect of what it is that they do. That's terrific, but you have to show it. So they'll need to provide you with an invoice that says, I'm providing $2,500 worth of service, here's my regular rate, and I'm going to provide that to this particular applicant. That's an in-kind. Donated items, it's a little tricky. I would tend to have you maybe sway away from that a little bit. But again, a donated item could be construction materials for capital, something of that nature. And then we'll spend a little bit of time on those volunteer hours as we go through. So on page 3, I just want to take a moment and really read through these so that you're not a frustrated Fred. Do we have any Freds in the room? I did not mean to offend anyone if your name is Fred. But I know once you start on this, you kind of get a little frustrated, but that's the reason we're doing this today. So you have a couple weeks to think about this. So all lodging establishments, that includes your campgrounds, your cabins, your rentals, all of those types of folks, You got to be in good standing. What does that mean? Well, you're supposed to be collecting a 5% lodging tax, and the county treasurer's office knows if you are collecting that amount, and if you're not eligible. And we'll know that because we will have a list when we go into the review meeting of who has collected and who has not. You have to have a federal ID number. If you're in business, you've got one of those. For profits, you need to provide a list of your owners, articles of incorporation, and your current W-9. That is something that you will upload. That is something that Georgia will check off. It's not something that the review committee spends hours on. She's already done that for us. Nonprofits, you need to provide a list of your officers or board members. That's important. Copy of your U.S. Department of Treasury IRS tax exempt status letter and your current W-9. Does anybody not understand what those documents are? Hopefully you do, and hopefully you're filing them in a very good manner. Number five, you may not file for more than one grant request. So you can do marketing and capital and operations. You can't do 2 marketing, 2 capital, 1 of each. All applicants must submit by an authorized representative of the requesting entity. I'm going to explain that a little bit further as we move along. You should not assume that they will be awarded a grant on an annual basis. I know, yes?
Yeah, I just have a question. I operate business in Westmoreland, Somerset, and...
So you can apply in all of those counties.
Okay, so I can do one grant for each county.
You certainly can. Yep. You just need to show that you do operate in those businesses, or you cross over into those. Your address, your physical business address, might be here in Fayette County, but you'll need to provide some sort of information that allows the review committee to understand that you operate in other counties. Okay? Again, don't assume that you're going to get it every single year. We'd love to do that, but don't assume that you're going to get that. You'll be publicly acknowledged, so we would love for you to attend the Tourism Grant Award Ceremony. It's a great photo op for everyone who doesn't want their picture taken. Number 10, it's the sole responsibility of the grant recipient to adhere to all of the guidelines. Any questions that you have, please feel free to ask. Don't get up to the deadline and say, I don't really know what I'm doing. Make sure, as you move through the process, especially a lot of you folks that are first-time applicants, as a provision of accepting the grant, this is new. You're not going to need to upload as much documentation in your final report that you used to, but the responsibility of making sure that you spent those dollars accurately falls to you. We are audited every single year. And Georgia can attest to this. Our auditors will say, I want this grant, this grant, this grant, and this grant. And they'll review that grant. They may reach back out to you as the grant recipient and say, I want to see all of the documentation that was utilized for this particular grant. So make sure that you keep everything together, okay? We're trying again to streamline this process and not have 100 people submit 1,000 different things. But again, it comes back to you. You're an operation, you're a business, it's up to you to make sure that all of that information is accurate in the event that you are audited. And again, simple, you're going to abide by all laws, state, federal, local, and all of those kind of things. Okay? So here's another change. Sometimes you get in the process and it's like, oh my gosh, that magazine went out of business and it's on my grant. What am I going to do? You're going to find another print publication and you're going to request a change. The way that used to work is you would send a nice little worded email and it would come to the grant administrator. That grant administrator would then provide it to me. I would issue it back out to the review committee who would review it and say yes or no, and then that request would be either denied or it would be a yay. Now we have a form that you will need to complete. Just again, streamlines everything, keeps everything nice and neat in the file. So you have a copy of that here with you. So take a look at that. It's pretty simple. Somewhere I have it, right, Georgia? Yeah, here we go. We just have Westmoreland. It's the same. It'll be Fayette. It'll be Somerset. It'll be noted. But you can see it's really very simple. Ask a couple different questions. Name of the authorized folks, emails, reason for the project activity change, a description of what you want to change, what's new on that. So again, just makes it a little bit more streamlined process for us. And again, because it all reflects back to you, this is the documentation we will have in file for our auditors. Okay. So let's take a moment. Yes?
Is this taking effect for the new grants or for the existing?
New ones. New ones. Good question. Thanks, Amy. Yeah, new ones. Okay? No-nos. So page 6, let's just take a moment and take a look at these. Pretty self-explanatory. I don't think I need to spend too much time on these, but these are things that are not eligible. Expenses not directly related to the approved grant, expenses that take place outside of the grant activity period, studies, surveys, research, and feasibility studies. I'm not saying they're not important, but they're not able to be part of this tourism grant. There are other grants that are out there that can help you with feasibility studies. General operating, staff, administration expenses, salaries and things of that nature, not eligible. Volunteer time, compensation to volunteers, not eligible. Building repairs, renovations, or remodeling of office or business facilities. You may have an historic site that needs some work, that is eligible. But business offices and build out and things of that nature, not eligible. Rent, not included. Office supplies, promotional giveaway, swags, love your ducks, Muriel, but that would not be eligible for you, just saying. Resale items, if you wanted to sell the duck, not eligible, okay? Computer hardware, software platforms, and subscription services. So we know you all love MailChimp. We all know how you love to do Canva and all of those kind of things. No, sorry. It's really considered an operations expense for you, just the general course of working. So that's something that you need to incur yourself. Professional development, including workshops and training, not eligible. Subscriptions or membership costs, not eligible. So you kind of see where this is all going. It's really going to how are you going to market. It's really about the potatoes and the beef and all of those kind of things. So we're going to show you how that's all going to work. Scholarships, endowments, no. Interest, reduction of debt, we'd love to help you with that, but nope. Cash awards of any kind, tournament bid fees, nope. Application and permit fees, food, lodging, mileage, transportation costs, no. Payments to a grant writer, no. Payments for agency fees, nope. Telephone cell, sorry, you've got to take care of that yourself. Letterhead, postcards, nope. Physical construction of billboards, no. But the billboard themselves, that beautiful thing that you're going to put on the Pennsylvania Turnpike, that would be eligible. Sectarian religious purposes, no. And on-site signage. So that's one that's like, again, cost of doing business. You got to have a sign where your business is located. That's on you. Getting people to where you are is a different story. So again, if you have a billboard that says exit 23 or whatever that might be, that would be eligible. But your own signage in front of your own building is not eligible. Okay, application and reporting, so page number 7, really just kind of takes you through step by step how all of this takes place. So applications can be found on our website. have that address. They'll be available on the county's website. The Chamber of Commerce will also get that information out to you. You need to complete it through the online portal. Can't mail it in, you can't email it in. You got to go through the online portal. So you'll do the grant application. You will do a spreadsheet. You will do, like we talked about, for-profits. You have certain things you're going to need to submit. For-profits, things you need to submit. So just make sure now's a good time to get all of that information together so you're ready to push that through on the online portal. Again, grant applications will be accepted. Yes. Nope.
When you're doing the application, you mentioned that there's going to be less supporting documents that you have to submit.
That's okay.
Get there.
I'm going to get there. I lost my train of thought, but that's okay. No. That is not a problem. Oh, the deadline. 4 o'clock, make sure, Friday, October the 4th. So your grant balance, hopefully, everyone gets a little bit more than $25,000. So if you have a grant balance, you're going to go through the process of applying for that. So you're going to submit work that has been done and completed. You're going to upload all of that documentation, send it in, it's going to be reviewed, and then that second check will be issued to you. When you do your final report, you don't need to send all of that information again. We've already got it in your file. All you're going to do is anything that's remaining to close out that particular grant. Again, any questions, feel free to ask us, reach out to Georgia, and she'll be happy to make sure she handholds you through that process. Okay, so here's some new language for you. So when you're working on your grant application, you're going to have two different types of folks, or they might be one and the same. Okay, so a key grant contact. This is the person that is submitting the application, who's compiled the information, and who is the person that Georgia will reach out to if there's something that's missing, if your calculations on your spreadsheet are incorrect. The key person they need to talk to. That's really, really important. So who's the authorized contact? If you are a nonprofit, it could be the chair of your board. It could be, if you're a for-profit, the owner of the business who has said, yes, I think this is a great opportunity for us. I'm going to authorize you to be our key contact, and I'm going to say, this is me. I'm the owner of the business. You're going to see my information on the W-9, so there's a difference, or it might be the same person. The key contact is really the one we need to make sure is very, very accurate. Telephone number, email, and so forth. So you're going to see that language on the grant application. So just make sure, again, if you have a question, just ask us, but there's a difference between the two, and we're trying to make sure we have exactly who we need to contact. So here are your questions. Not as many questions on that grant application as before. So one thing to keep in mind, what does the grant review committee do? They read this, but they spend a lot of time on the spreadsheet. You're going to have X amount of words per each question. You don't need to write a book because it's going to say, too many words. So question number 1, describe your current need, or it's a problem, or it's an opportunity. And how will this grant help to resolve that for you? Is this a cooperative project? We love cooperative projects. It's really nice to work with other people, especially if you're a lodging property, work with a restaurant. If you're an attraction, maybe there's a like-minded person that's close by. If you're an event, you need lodging, you need dining establishments. So again, think about who you can work with in that process. If it's yes, you're going to fill in a little bit more information. If it's no, you move forward. So how will this project enhance or increase tourism? So remember way back on those early slides, how am I getting somebody here? How am I keeping them here longer? How am I enhancing their experience? Get a little detailed here. You know, this is something that the review committee looks at, and your response is very important as to how this is going to benefit Fayette County and the tourism product that you have here in the county. How are you going to measure the results? So, how are you collecting that data if they're coming to an event? How do you track visitation? How do you track overnight stays, ticket sales, all of those kind of things? The committee wants to know how you're making sure that this grant is going to be measured so that you have accurate data when you do your final report. And please provide annual visitation numbers for the past 3 years. We want to see forward progress. Some of you may be around the same. That's okay. You'll have that opportunity to explain the why. But if you're a repeat person that's getting a tourism grant year after year, kind of want to see an increase in those numbers. So if you are a festival or an event, how many of you in the room are a festival or an event or have something that's part of your tourism grant? Okay, so if you are submitting your volunteer hours on your application, this applies only to you. So you're going to have a separate portion that you're going to fill in for those volunteer hours at $12 an hour. Again, it's only for our festivals and only for our events, and if you get stuck on that portion, just give us a call and we'll help you, but it's pretty simple. Okay, budget spreadsheet. So everyone has a copy. Again, this is just kind of pretty simple, but we're going to walk our way through it. I want you to think about this in a couple different ways. This may be a marketing plan for the entire year. You can't do anything unless you get these tourism dollars. That's okay. This may be a specific campaign. It might be for a 3 or 4 month time period. That's also okay. It could be a specific need. So you've got a boatload of money for a marketing campaign, but you just don't have those dollars for a billboard campaign in Ohio that you know could be so beneficial to you. That's a specific need that you're applying for. And it could be just really additional marketing opportunities that you can't bear yourself. Might be a redo of a website. It might be some new social media opportunities. That's okay. So it runs the gamut as far as what those asks would be. So each activity needs to be listed on your budget spreadsheet separately. Okay? The committee doesn't want to read through 1,000 different ways that you're going to do it. They want to see line by line by line by line how you're going to use that. So on your budget spreadsheet, number 1, we have billboards, 2 in Wheeling and Bedford, $2,500 a month during the months of July and August. The vendor's name is Lamar. The total cost for the project is $5,000. You're asking within this grant $2,500. Number 2, half-page ad for each month, March, July, and September in Pittsburgh Magazine. It's a $9,000 buy. You're asking for $6,000 in this tourism grant. Social media advertising, Facebook and Instagram. That's where you want to place your buys. $5,000. $5,000 is what you're asking in the grant itself. Website design. Who the provider is, the dollar amount. Digital ads in Google. Destination guide in Go Laurel Highlands, a half-page ad, Go LH. So you can see each opportunity, each activity within that marketing grant has its own separate line. What's going to be golden for you is on the bottom, it calculates for you. I'm not a mathematician. I was an English major in college. So thank you, Georgia, for having something that calculates the numbers for me. So you can see that the total activity, meaning your whole campaign for marketing, is $32,600. On the right-hand side, you can see that you're asking the committee that's reviewing $27,100. That's what you're asking. On the bottom, it's calculating a 25% match is $6,775. It will recalculate for you if you go back in and you make some modifications. If the committee reviews and says, well, you know what, I don't really want to we're not going to fund number 4 and we're not going to fund number 5. That'll be removed. Your cash match will be recalculated for you. When you receive your letter, you're going to get your budget spreadsheet back, what you can and can't spend your dollars on, and that new 25% match will be calculated for you so that you'll know. So then you need to explain, okay, 25% match, where's those dollars coming from? 25% cash match will come from Tom Sawyer's Cabin annual marketing budget. What does that mean? Well, that means that Tom Sawyer has $6,775 in their bank account already set aside for marketing. They're going to be able to show at the end on the final report that they've utilized their own dollars as part of this marketing campaign. And again, if you don't quite understand that as you're working through, please reach back out to us. It's pretty simple once you start working through it. And for those that have done this before, it's pretty easy peasy, but first timers, we understand it can be a little challenging, and that's okay. So the spreadsheet, again, one action on each particular line as you're working your way down through. So I just put this up here. This is Fort Ligonier. Working towards 2026, I talked about America 250 PA. Doesn't really fit with them because they're the road to revolution. What happened at Fort Ligonier happened before 26. So what they wanted to do was a particular campaign. They spent their money for new brochures and everything related to something that was happening this year in 2024. So again, think about the future or think about what your needs are. This was their ask in 2024, something very minute, something very different than what they would normally ask for. They didn't have it within their own budget, and so they reached out with the tourism grant to do something very specific. So just wanted to give you just a short sample there. So the dreaded match. How many of you hate this part of? Oh, one honest person, two honest people in the room. Very good. Again, it's easier than you think. So at the bottom, you just need to explain the how. It's going to be calculated for you. We have done this calculation time and time and time again to make sure it's working. It's working. If you do not receive the full fund of your grant, the match, again, will be recalculated for you. You're going to see what that grant is when you get your letter. And the final report, you need to prove that you utilized your money as part of this particular grant ask. A lot of grants out there will say, yes, you need to have a match. A lot of them are very specific of how you can do that match. We're a little bit more lenient, but you still need to make sure that you show exactly how you've utilized that. So it will be invoices and so forth that you will need to upload. So things to remember: you have to close out your grant from the year before. You cannot change an approved line item on your spreadsheet. Sorry, you have to put in a request for that particular change. Collaboration is welcome. No proof of payment is required in this cycle. So this goes back to your question. Before, you had to provide us with bank statements and so forth. You do not need to do that anymore. Still need to see your invoices, but we don't need to see that you have a bank statement that says that you have paid that credit card expense. That goes back to you. If you are audited, you will have to prove and have that documentation at the ready. We feel if you have an invoice, hopefully you've paid it, but you've done and matched what you said you were going to do on your spreadsheet. We're done holding people's hands. You're business owners. You are professional business owners. I will tell you, if you are not legit and you are not doing it correctly, you will not be eligible moving forward. So we're trying again to streamline the process. So again, it's one of the things that we have heard time and time, year after year. Why do we have to? Why do we have to? I don't have to do this for another grant, so forth and so on. But you still have to provide and upload those invoices. So again, those invoices are required. Keep them in a handy folder. Don't willy-nilly put it in your purse and think, oh, I changed my purse in the fall. Where are those receipts from my purple purse that I had in the spring? Come on, guys. Everybody operates a business here. Let's be smart. Put all of the things that relate to the tourism grant in one folder, and you're good to go. We will not need to have a copy of your print ad. Won't have to submit that, but we will need the invoice. But again, keep a copy in the folder so it's easy for you to have in the event that there is an audit, okay? Exception is capital grants. How many of you have applied for capital grants or those tourism enhancement? We need a before and an after photo. So that did not go away. We want to see that, oh my gosh, this wall is falling down. Oh, look how pretty this is. So again, make sure you keep photos. One pitch. How many have utilized Go Laurel Highlands for any of your marketing efforts? Thank you very much. If you haven't, we're here for you if you wish. We are a destination marketing organization. It's what we do. We are in those markets I shared with you. We are happy to offer those opportunities for you during the course of the year. We will have marketing opportunities available on August the 26th. You'll be able to review those. They may work for you, they might not, but Kelly we'll be happy to assist with those if you're interested. We have all different types of opportunities, everything from print to social to brochures. Yes, how did I forget the brochure distribution? So again, if you're interested in our marketing opportunities, we certainly value you. We are a partnership marketing organization, so you do need to be a marketing partner with us. We have different levels, everything from $295 to $2,000 to be part of our marketing team. We'd welcome you, but again, that's my only pitch for today. And again, do not forget your partners in the business community, and that's your Chamber of Commerce. Yes, Kelly.
I just want to say to the people that have done it in the past, there are changes to our opportunities for next year. So don't automatically write in the cost of what things were for this year. Things are changing a little bit, so make sure you look at those opportunities.
Thank you. Forgot that. Needed to make a note. I'll remember. Yes. It'll be uploaded on the 26th. Yep, it'll all be there for you, okay? Again, ready, set, go. Grant applications August the 26th. Where you can find them, remember, you are in Fayette County, except if you do business or your work is in other counties. Good example is the Great Allegheny Passage Bike Trail. It's a linear trail that goes from Fayette, Somerset, and Westmoreland. They are able to apply in all three of those counties because that's where their work, so to speak, takes place. Remember to upload your documents, sign your grant application. There's another duh moment for you. Marketing opportunities will be available on the 26th. The deadline, keep all your invoices and a final report will be due. Here's your final tip. I'm a chocolate lover, dark chocolate specifically. O'Shea's Candy in Ligonier is about, I don't know, not far, 100 steps maybe. I love dark chocolate orange rinds. That's my go-to. So when I'm having a low, like 2:30 in the afternoon, I have a secret stash in my drawer, and I pull those out, and I'm good to go till whatever time it is. Whatever makes you work. If it's chocolate, if it's coffee, feed your mind. Start now. You know, it's not daunting, but get your creative juices flowing. And here's the folks that you need to really think about. I'm on here, Ann Nemenek at the bottom. Georgia Verbinski is our grant administrator. And if you are interested in our marketing opportunities, Kelly's contact information is there as well. Thank you all very much. We are here to answer questions. So, yes. So, any specific questions that you have, Georgia can answer, Warren can answer, Kelly can answer, Muriel probably can close her eyes and answer. Any specific questions? Yes.
Can you give some insight on, and I don't know if you can or not, but why someone has been denied grant funding? Is it something in their application that we should look for, or, you know, things like that?
That's a good question. Number one, you have to be a business that has been established for 1 year. If you are new in business, we appreciate you, but you got to get your legs under you. So that would be a reason where you would be denied. If your ask is exorbitant, really, really big, it may be whittled down, or it may not even be considered. Marketing grants rise to the top. Capital, those tourism enhancement grants are important. You're lucky because those are not offered in all 3 of our counties. But again, marketing trumps the capital. So if you're thinking about which one should I do, I would lean more towards marketing. Collaboration, if we see that 3 different businesses are working together, that's going to rise in that pile. So really just think about the whole. The other thing is make sure that your marketing is not local. No slam against the Herald Standard, that's not eligible. Tribune Review is, it used to be a publication that was strictly in Greensburg. They're trying to be the Pittsburgh newspaper. So we'll give a little bit of leadway for that. But a better one is your Morgantown or your Ohio marketing opportunities. So does that help you?
Yeah, just a couple of questions for that.
Yes.
Talking about collaboration, does that mean multiple businesses applying for grants, or just showing collaboration in your request?
That's a good question. So say you are a lodging property and you're going to have a gift shop and a restaurant as part of that. You're going to need to have a letter of cooperation from that particular business that says, yes, I agree that Susie's going to put this in for all of us. So one person is the lead on that. That particular business is the person that Georgia will reach out to if there's a particular question. You're going to take care of all the invoices and everything that's involved for everyone that's part of that. That does not mean that that restaurant could not submit a grant for themselves as well, but they're working together as a collaborative effort. I used to be in the hotel industry for 14 years before I came to Mountain View, and I did a getaway package called the Classic American Getaway. I was the hotel, so I submitted the grant. They went to Falling Water. My hotel was in Greensburg, Pennsylvania, so I crossed into another county and had that attraction as part of that. They went to Christian Clay Winery for a wine tasting, and they went to the Westmoreland Museum of American Art. I calculated what the cost would be for each of those things. We collected the money. We distributed that money back out to those collaborative partners, but we were the lead on that. But it didn't deter a Falling Water or a Christian Clay Winery from submitting their own application as well. Okay?
Can I add one?
Sure.
So be careful about applying for the same grant funding from multiple grant sources. So We just opened up and I think closed a round of local LSA. If you plan to submit the same exact grant, please know that we know that. So not only LSA, but Community Foundation, Go Laurel Highlands, we know what grants are submitted, so please don't put in carbon copy grants. And if there's a reason that you do that, please let one of us know that that's happening, because we look in and work through all of those different grant sources.
Kelly?
One more thing that I thought of on our website, where you're getting the tourism grant information. If you scroll down, you can click on your county, and then there you can see who's received the grant in the past and what they've received it for. So it's a good way to do some homework right now.
Thank you. Yes?
From what I recall from last year, the grant application process was pretty straightforward, but I know there were a few questions that are longer response questions. You might not know or have decided yet, but is there a character count on those?
Very good question. Yes, there is a character count. And the one thing that we recommend for you to do is maybe type it out in Word separately so that you read it before you put it into the grant application itself. Then just copy and paste it into that. But yes, some of them I think are 500, Jen, is that correct? There's one.
750.
And
They're word counts, so it'll be word, yeah.
not character count, but word count, okay? And again, you don't need to write a boatload. Just be concise and be on point with what it is that you're.
I'll add in some modern technology as well. Just use it cautiously. You can take a 500-word paragraph, type it into ChatGPT, tell it to reduce it down to 200 words, and have some help in that process. So
It won't write the whole grant for you, but it could be a helpful
it's
tool.
only going to do that, reducing amount of words if you type in your paragraph. Not say, like, type me a paragraph, but here's my paragraph. I need to take 50 words out. It will help you make it more concise. We will know if it was completely AI written.
Yeah.
That's good to know that it's only 500, 750, because some of those grants are 5,000, 10,000.
Oh, no.
What they really want.
Streamline. Yes.
I am just curious, will I need to do, if I decide to apply for a marketing grant and then, let's say, an operational expense grant, I'm a for-profit, do I need to have two separate forms for each type of grant?
Yeah.
Okay.
Each grant application, marketing has its own spreadsheet. Operations, its own spreadsheet. Don't combine them. Yeah. Any other questions?
Can I just mention, Anna,
Yes.
to go along with the word count, we will have a Word document that you can download that will have the questions that you can kind of work on prior to going into the official grant portal. So you can work on your answers, adjust, put in chat. Work on all of that before going into the official portal. So it gives you a little bit of time to think about all the answers and see all the questions in one document.
Thank you. Yes.
For trails, in the past, I've applied for capital grants for like construction in both Fayette and Westmoreland. Is it possible to like apply for construction for a project that's physically happening in Fayette, but that they could reach via the trail from Westmoreland County?
I'd be really cautious on something like that. I really would. If it's completed and you're marketing that trail, that's a different story. Construction, I would keep it within the county that it's actually taking place. Good question, though.
Can I add trail construction, please contact me or the commissioner's office to talk about it before you put your trail construction grant application in.
And again, I think especially when it comes to those tourism enhancement grants and capital, there are other funding sources, God bless you, in Fayette County where it might be more advantageous for you to apply for that in another realm, in another capacity, and then that frees you up for your marketing ask. Yes.
So when you were speaking about your no list,
Yes.
and you mentioned that
repairs and whatnot to buildings do not qualify. However, if you have a historic property, something can be done. Could you elaborate on that? And is that with the marketing or the operational expense grant, or how does
So,
that?
good question. So operations would be, it could be rent, it could be your utilities, those kind of things. It maxes out at $2,500, and honestly, they're getting fewer and fewer each year because the emphasis should be on marketing or the tourism enhancement. So you have wonderful historic structures here in Fayette County. So to preserve them, we need to make sure that there are funding sources available. The tourism grants have helped with that over the years, but there's also been some additional funds that have been freed to kind of help with that. Let's just think about the toll house, for instance, window replacement. So there were dollars that were partially funded through the tourism grant, but through another source. If you have a building in downtown Uniontown that you need some structural supports for, this is not going to be the grant ask for you. So again, I would reach out to us or to Muriel and ask that question before you spend hours and hours putting together a grant. I'm not saying that, my God, I need a front door so a visitor can come through. Well, okay, but that may be considered by the review committee just cost of doing business. You're going to have to do that yourself, kind of thing.
Wasn't sure.
Yep.
When you said, it sounded like you were saying historic might qualify, but.
It does. Historical structures do, but if it is a building that is in the 1900s in downtown Uniontown, it's not considered as historic as an 1800 year structure. So let's have a conversation, and then we can help you apply to the right source in order to get your dollars.
Historic district might change that conversation.
It could.
So the conversation might.
Okay, and then another question on the no list.
Yes.
You said postcards don't, you don't, they don't qualify.
So,
You're talking about mailing postcards?
So that would, so direct mailing campaigns, yes, but you have to make sure that the direct mailing takes place outside of your county. It's not something, if you're having an open house, that you're sending to your database. No,
Right.
that.
Okay, so, I do open houses and send to my database, but I've always wanted to buy those extra names that were from out of the area.
That works.
So that would work.
That works.
Okay, because I've never done it because it's always that extra expensive. Okay, well,
No.
next year, but.
No.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
You're an easy bunch. Any final comments?
I have a little list here. I just wanted to kind of make sure that based on previous years, we kind of want to bring home. So there is a county initiative right now to bring people up from West Virginia. So think marketing to the south.
Good to know.
Please review that cash match and ask questions. In kind cannot just be a discount from your vendor. Cash, match has to be a match. If you need guidance on that, yell to us. That happens quite a bit. One of the things I'll get phone calls on in the next few weeks is I have to turn in a copy of my IRS determination letter, and I don't have it. So you can go to the IRS website, irs.gov. You go to nonprofit organizations, and you start following links, and you can indeed get a copy of your IRS determination letter, or if you've had it for 100 years like we have, they will send you a letter in its place. So we have to have that document. If you don't have it, it's amazing how many people lose that letter. I mean, it's easy, it's on piece of paper. You can indeed get another copy. I cannot emphasize enough the words data collection. And if you're sitting there thinking, I don't know how to do data collection at my location, call me, call Kelly, call Ann, we'll come up with some creative way for you to do data collection. But it is incredibly vital to us as we move forward to have that data collection in our hands. And the last note I have on here, and I can't say it enough times, collaboration, collaboration, collaboration. Work together, bring in partners, build out those grants. I can tell you, the grant committee loves to see collaborative projects.
Yeah, think about itineraries. I mean, think about bringing somebody in. What do you like to do? Where do you like to go? You know, think of yourself as a visitor and why you want to spend time here in Fayette County. And again, your job is to make sure people come and they stay in this beautiful Hilton property, that they stay in all of the lodging properties that we have here, because that fuels the money that goes back into your county, and that's important. Yes?
I had been involved in members of your organizations a while back before COVID. COVID kind of killed things, and now I'm trying to get back in. Based upon the collaboration push, is there any possibility to obtain the names of those that are here at this workshop so that we can, contact them for additional collaboration? Is that
Sure. We'd be happy to share who's here. And we'll slap the hands of those people that said they were coming and didn't come. But no, that's Mark's job. My man. Well, thank you all very, very much for coming. You've believe me, this list of who attends the workshop actually goes to the review committee, so they know that you've taken that initiative, and that's important. Again, share how this information will be on Channel 77.
Super handy. I didn't even think about this. You can scan this code that's on this coaster, and it will take you to our landing page, to our YouTube page. This will be up sometime early next week. I'd like to get it by the end of this week, but realistically, probably first thing next week. Scan that QR code, so hang on to this. It'll be up there. So you can go back and reference things. There's a lot of information here. So yeah, feel free to check that out, and it'll be accessible for you.
So can I do a little pitch too?
Sure.
So Rick and Ashley are part of our PR initiative in Fayette County. We are always looking for good stories to put out there, to tell the world. We push out of Fayette County. We run the county Facebook page and the county social media pages. So if you have something cool going on, give Rick or Ashley a call, and we can help you with that PR as well.
Okay, very good. We'll stick around for a little bit. Feel free, if you're shy. Right. We're here to answer any questions for you. If not, thank you. Have a great day, and everyone please submit on, get started on August the 26th. Thank you.